Thanks very much. So I'm Matt Thompson, I'm CEO of Endologix, and I'm delighted to be here to tell you a little bit about our company today. So Endologix, we're a privately owned company by Deerfield Management. We're actually just up the road in Irvine. We're a commercial stage medical device company within the interventional vascular field. At a high level, our aim is to improve the lives of patients with vascular disease through disruptive solutions, and we very much concentrate on a patient population who has unmet clinical needs. So we try to challenge the status quo, and we're very much not a Me Too company. In terms of where we're at commercially, by the end of this year, we're trying to have revenue at scale over 120 million, have double-digit top-line growth, and as I'll go through, have a pathway to profitability. This is really our journey of the current company, started in 2020 when we went private. Since that time, we've been transforming the business by stabilizing and growing the revenue associated with our abdominal aortic aneurysm products. We've also broadened the product portfolio and reduced our cash burn. What we're trying to do is get ourselves in a position to IPO when the market opens. We want to get revenue at scale, double-digit growth, have a pathway to profitability, and as we're moving towards that scenario, we're having a debate about whether we raise a crossover round to invest in the parameters that you can see on the slide. At the very end of the talk today, I'll talk a little bit about our strategy for continued growth. So these are our currently commercially available product lines. We have two products for use in endovascular repair of abdominal aortic aneurysms, the Alto Endograft and AFX2. Globally, the total addressable market for these devices is around 2 billion, with about 38,000 procedures done last year in the US. More recently, we acquired a company, PQ Bypass, in 2021, and we're now commercializing percutaneous transmural arterial bypass with the Detour system. This has a large global TAM of around 5 billion, and around 50% of that addressable market is within the US, where there are around 100,000 procedures done per year for patients who have long superficial femoral artery occlusions. So a little bit more about the products now. We have two platforms to treat patients with abdominal aortic aneurysms, both disruptive. We have the Alto Endograft, which is an amazing piece of technology. It uses liquid polymer that is hardened in situ to give structure to the graft and produce a customized aortic seal. This graft is the lowest profile endograft on the market and has the broadest applicability with excellent long-term durability data. We also have the AFX2 endograft that was approved by the FDA in 2016. This is a device that's very easy to use. It produces a reproducible, quick procedure with low radiation dose and is particularly suitable for patients who've got narrowing of the aortic bifurcation, so coexisting peripheral vascular and aneurysmal disease. In terms of how we see the AAA market, this is a relatively stable market for us at the moment. Epidemiologically, aneurysms are relatively flat across the world. The numbers are coming back after COVID, but the market is relatively well established. We have two good quality, high quality endografts, and within the US, we have the third position in the market, have around 10% of market share. As I said, in 2023, we'll do around $110 million globally in aneurysm revenue, and as we go forward, we plan to grow that around 5% year over year. We think this is a stable, good market. The market's very unlikely to be disrupted given the barriers to entry. And as I'll explain, as we build out our commercial sales force, we plan to take share in the AAA market. I'm going to spend a little bit more time now talking about PTAB, percutaneous transmural arterial bypass, using the Detour system. This is a system within a procedure that consists of an endocross catheter, as you can see on the top of the screen here, and torus PTFE nitinol covered stent grafts. These are used in conjunction to perform a femoropopliteal bypass but in an endovascular route. And you can see on the diagram here, blood is being routed around the femoral artery occlusion, not using an intra-arterial route as all other endovascular procedures do. So this is a very differentiated procedure. So why would we do that? Well, for patients who have long occlusions of their femoral artery, most professional society guidelines will recommend open femoropopliteal bypass surgery. This has great durability, but it's invasive. Patients are in hospital for a long period of time and their recovery takes months rather than days. For that reason, physicians tend to use endovascular solutions off-label, and while successful in the short term, these procedures are simply not durable. And what we're trying to do really is offer the best of both worlds. To put some numbers on those parameters, if you compare the detour procedure to open femoropopliteal bypass surgery, you can see that the detour procedure has significant advantages in terms of length of stay, risk of infection, 30-day readmission rates, and morbidity, whilst the durability of detour and open surgery is very similar. If you look at a comparison to endovascular surgery, again, if you look at patients with long occlusions, you'll see that the detour procedure has an approximate 40% one-year patency advantage. So how are we doing in terms of our launch? Well, detour had FDA breakthrough device designation. We had the graft approved with an original PMA. In June of 2023, we went through a targeted market release through the majority of 23 to reduce the risk of reimbursement, getting through value analysis committees and our commercial model. That was very successful, and we're now in a full market release this year, where we're trying to penetrate that 100,000 procedure TAM around 1% in 2024. Our initial outcomes with this procedure have been very good, really good technical success. Procedural duration is coming down with a learning curve. We have attractive reimbursement with a CPT code and 2 tariff uplifts, NTAP and TPT. And from a therapy introduction perspective, we're being very careful to build a PTAB community. Little word now on how we commercialize our products. Within the US, we're commercializing the AAA platforms and the detour platform directly. We have around 65 reps and specialists at the moment in the US and plan to add another 15 this year to support the detour launch and to drag some AAA revenue through with that. Outside of the US, our revenue is largely split between Japan and Europe, where we have a hybrid model in Europe and an indirect model in Japan. So in terms of our revenue ramp, this is what it looks like over the next few years. As I said, we did around 110 million in AAA revenue in 2023. The aneurysm revenue will grow approximately 3 to 5% year over year, and you can see that our double-digit top-line growth comes from the detour procedure. In terms of our pipeline, you can see on the left-hand side of this slide, we've got our 3 currently commercialized products. We will be making some small iterations to the endocross and torus catheters for detour as we get feedback from our therapy launch, and we're constantly looking for M&A opportunities as well as partnering with the Deerfield Catalyst Group to produce an endograft for the treatment of aortoiliac occlusive disease. So finally, I'll just leave you with our investment highlights as we get through 2024 and then consider an IPO when the market opens. Thank you very much for your attention.